Hello, boys and girls, and happy Thanksgiving. Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast here to make you another cocktail. This week's cocktail is the Pumpkin Martini. Very seasonal. And it is the featured cocktail in today's episode. I'm going to start with our shaker with ice. To that, we're going to take vodka. 2 ounces. 2 ounces of vodka. Next, heavy whipping cream, 1/2 an ounce. Let's shake that up a bit. Half an ounce. Next, pure pumpkin puree. That's right, the real deal, boys and girls. I'm going to take 2 tablespoons. Next, pumpkin pie spice. We're going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. Spice. Like so. Vanilla extract. If I can get it open. There we go. Another 1/4 teaspoon, boys and girls, vanilla extract. Let's get all this whipping cream out of here too. And there you have it. Then we shake. We're going to take our martini glass, which we rimmed with maple syrup and graham cracker crumbs. We're going to take our drink and pour it in there. And there you have it, boys and girls. The pumpkin martini. Smells very pumpkin-y. Yeah, not bad. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. See ya.
Horror comedies are a very unique breed. They can be good. They can be so bad that they're good, or so bad that they are just plain bad. And regrettably, we believe that this week's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast, ThanksKilling, might just fall into that last category. To be fair, the movie is making fun of itself throughout, and the gore is plentiful. So maybe it just wasn't our cup of tea. But hey, maybe a hand puppet turkey with bad acting and puns is right up your alley. And if so, you're in for a Thanksgiving treat. Gobble gobble. Cheers!
Welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm Greg.
Hello, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm feeling grateful, Greg. How are you?
I'm okay, Karen. Looking forward to the big Thanksgiving dinner, Karen. How are you?
It is my favorite meal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because you like to be with family and friends and think about
No,
all
I
the
meant
things you're
the food.
thankful for.
No, I like the turkey. I like the stuffing. I like the mashed potatoes. I like the green bean casserole and the burnt bottom rolls.
God, burnt bottom rolls.
Best.
And burnt top mac and cheese.
Yes. We don't have mac and cheese, but I won't let it be changed. Christmas, if you want to change things around, that's fine, but you can't mess with anything on Thanksgiving. No sausage in the stuff. No, you can't change anything. Has to just be the regular.
Turducken.
Yeah, no crate, no frying the turk, no nothing. Just the same old, same old. Because that's what my favorite meal is.
You're a traditional girl, huh?
Well, it's just my favorite meal. Especially the next day. Tastes better the next day for some reason. Yeah. In California, there used to be a little fancy market down at the bottom of the hill where we lived, and they would do a turkey cranberry sauce sandwich with mayonnaise. It was so good. Because it's kind of like the meal. The bread was like the stuffing, and then you have cranberry and mayonnaise, and oh God, it was good. I miss that sandwich.
Okay, but enough about that, Karen.
See, I'm all about the food.
I believe this week was your choice, was it? Was it not, Karen?
This was all me.
And what film have you chosen for us this week, Karen?
I have chosen the movie ThanksKilling from 2007 or 8, depending on which source you look at.
Or 9, depending on, what you're going with, or 3 for that matter. But any reason you chose that film, Karen?
Well, it's Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it would be funny.
You did? That's what you thought?
I thought it might be in the same vein as Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but...
Well, I believe it is, Karen.
So... I know you do, but...
Do you have a cocktail for us as well, Karen? Is the cocktail as equally as awesome as your film?
The cocktail is delicious. I think it might be one of my favorites so far.
Go on. What is it?
It's from acouplecooks.com, and it's called a Pumpkin Martini.
And how would we make such a concoction?
Well, first, the Pumpkin Martini recipe is a stunning fall cocktail. It's cozy and creamy with pumpkin pie spice and a crunchy graham cracker rim. You're going to need 2 ounces of vodka, half an ounce of heavy cream, half an ounce of pure maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of canned pumpkin puree, a 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and graham crackers for the rim. And I just realized I didn't add the vanilla. To prepare the rim, you crush the graham crackers and place them on a plate, and then add a little bit of maple syrup to another plate. Run the rim of the martini glass in the maple syrup first, rotating the glass so the rim is evenly coated. Then roll the rim in the crushed graham crackers until evenly coated. Place all the ingredients in a cocktail shaker with a handful of ice and shake it up. Strain the drink into the prepared martini glass. Did you add whipped cream to yours? If you'd like it to be a pumpkin pie martini,
I did.
go ahead and add some whipped cream.
I thought about it, but I thought that might be getting it messy. I get it all on my nose.
Yeah. You want to look pretty for me. I understand.
Should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own pumpkin martini? Run to the local grocery store and get a can of pumpkin puree real quick.
They have one. It's Thanksgiving.
And they put it in their pie.
You can steal a little bit. No one will know.
Yeah, I agree. A little. I think, well, we'll get to it. I won't give my critique of the drink just yet.
Well, if you don't like pumpkin, you're not going to like it.
I like pumpkin ales, Karen.
Okay, if you don't like pumpkin pie, you're not going to like it.
All right, should we give our friends and listeners time to make their own?
Of course.
Hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen. Might you have a brief synopsis for us?
I do.
Go on. Tell us all the story.
A possessed turkey terrorizes 5 college students during Thanksgiving break.
Thank you, Karen, for that brief synopsis. I believe we are a match. I had 2.
Do you have a better one than that?
Yes, I have that one. And then I also made a note of the description on Amazon. It said, and it's not all that accurate, but it was 5 college kids on Thanksgiving break stumble across a 386-year-old necromanced turkey in the woods. And he's one bloodthirsty, foul-mouthed bastard.
Wasn't it 515 or something?
510.
Oh,
he was
okay.
510, but yeah. So, pick whichever synopsis you choose. They're both almost just as accurate. All right, Karen, tell us everything you really enjoyed about this film from sometime between 2003 and 2009.
I'm thinking there's sequel potential.
Definitely sequel potential.
Which I like. Small cast, which
Small
I
cast.
like. There was a fair amount of gore, and it wasn't done horribly. I've definitely seen worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, they got the gore in.
Quite a bit of it was kind of off screen, but there was blood splatter.
Yeah, but there were a couple things that they put some effort into that.
Yeah.
I kind of liked how it made fun of itself through the whole thing. But let me say, I like how they tried to do that. It didn't play well for me. It wasn't quite my sense of humor. But I could see where if there is a certain subset of people who would enjoy this film, who go in and expect the type of humor that was in it and the type of gore that was in it and the kind of ridiculousness that was in it. So if you're the so bad it's good kind of person and this humor resonates with you, I think you'll actually like it. For me, it turned more into it's a so bad it's bad movie, not a so bad it's good movie, which is the difference between Attack of the Killer Tomatoes to me and this movie, which I know is not the same for you. But that's pretty much what I've got. Do you have anything different that you liked?
Actually, I didn't think the actors were terrible. I was expecting worse.
I think they were doing it on purpose.
They played it. Yes, they played it.
This is one of the films where I'll actually believe,
campy.
Yes,
yes,
that they were trying to be like that.
How could you not?
I think that's what I would have looked like if I was acting in it.
No, I mean it was okay. There was some gore. It was okay. Some of it. A couple of the death scenes were okay. I knew they were trying to be funny, right? I got these are the jokes, right? But they weren't funny to me. So
yes, that's what I mean.
The funniest,
maybe. Well, I'm saying
I'm already into what I don't like. So, but the funniest thing I thought was one of the songs. That's about the only time I laughed. Was the song about the dead
best friend.
Yes. I will say
That
that
part was funny.
if you live in Ohio and you wait about 30 days from now, it might be funnier. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you referring to issue 2, which recently passed, Karen, the state?
I'm not going to say what I'm referring to. I'm just
Okay.
putting that out there.
It wouldn't hurt, Karen. I ain't going to lie. It wouldn't hurt. Anything you did not care for in particular?
I didn't care for the acting. I know, and I support your opinion that they were doing it on purpose, but it was stiff and just distractingly bad, kind of at times. Other
Some
times
of them
it was
were.
okay.
A couple of them were, but
other times it.
I thought the guy who played Billy was pretty good. I thought the guy who played Darren was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Johnny, I wasn't a big fan of.
No, neither of the girls. Whatever.
Nah.
It's, I thought the actors, they seemed older than college kids, but that happens a lot. It didn't bother me that much, but they did look a little old. The turkey was a little ridiculous. Kind of looked like a shrunken T-Rex, but I think it's a puppet. Is it a puppet?
It is. That's what it looked like to me, Karen. Looked like a puppet.
It's
a hand puppet, like a sock.
And there were just certain points in the movie that were ridiculous. And the jokes didn't land for me. Just not my sense of humor. A little bit racist, a little bit crude, maybe I was in the wrong mood. Who knows? Because there are movies like this that I have liked, like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And there was another one, I can't remember what it's called. I was trying to find it earlier, where I still quote lines to my sister, and I can't remember what the name of it was. I'll have to find it and see. But it's very much like this with the stupid jokes and things. So it's not that I don't like that kind of movie. It's just these jokes were not for me.
Yes. This isn't Airplane, right?
Right. And I really like Airplane. And I've liked movies
or the Naked Gun or any of those things.
Lesser than Airplane. Airplane's, kind of high up in this genre, but I can tolerate it fairly well. I like the puns and all that kind of stuff, but this, no. It looked like the person.
You think they made the John Bonet Ramsey joke several times on purpose?
I don't know.
Or do you think that's bad editing?
I don't know. I thought it was bad editing at the time, but I don't know. Were they just, again, showing how terrible the movie was?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. You think they even edited it badly on purpose?
I don't know.
They repeated it a couple times, like 3 times. And the first 2 times they laughed a lot at it. Like they all thought it was funny. The first,
like it was
times,
the first time they heard it.
Right.
I don't know. Just didn't land for me. But I'm sure there are people out there that know it and think it's hilarious and probably watch it every year. And God
probably
love
watch
you.
it every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they probably love the sequel too, which is the sequel is actually called ThanksKilling 3. Because that's, they're still being funny, skipping right to 3, I guess.
I don't know. I'd like to hear other people's opinions on it, but people know it. So I'd never heard of it before. I just happened to look up horror films for Thanksgiving themed, and it popped up, and I thought, well, we haven't done one of these in a while. Maybe it'll be funny. I did a lot of time checks. I'm not going to lie. And it's only an hour and 6 minutes.
Yep. I did 1.
I did about 4. But it's got gore. It's got teenage hormones. It's got slashing. It's got the formula, the final girl. It's a parody, obviously, in some ways, but it's just not as good as others.
Yeah, I was expecting better. I was expecting so bad it's good, right? But maybe that's what I was hoping. I was hoping for that. Anything else?
Well, I just think, if it's your kind of movie, if you dig that kind of stuff, you might like it. I don't want to stop anyone from watching it, because I think it's a personal preference, and you might think it's hilarious and think that we're just sticks in the mud because we didn't get it. Maybe we're too old. Or
Maybe.
maybe I'm too old. I don't know. Because I'm way older than you.
You are.
But if you do want to watch it, Greg, where can they find the link so we can earn a penny from it?
What's on our website, Karen? In the show notes. There's a link right there.
Scaryspirits.com in the show notes.
And as we record this, it's on sale.
Yeah, if you go quickly, you might get it for free.
Yeah.
Which is what it's worth. But if it's later and you miss the sale, then please click the link on the website so Greg can earn a penny for all his hard work editing.
What kind of cocktail rating you want to give it, Karen?
Personally, I'd give it a 5.
I already wrote down 5. So I'm right with you. I agree.
I wonder if I was younger, if I would think it was funnier. But I don't know.
I don't know.
Your son John knew it.
Did
So I wonder if he thinks it's funny, because he said, please tell me you're doing ThanksKilling. And I said, we are. And he said, awesome. So I don't know if he likes it or if it's just so ridiculous or over the top or what. So it's known. Like I said, had never heard
it
of it.
Kind of
never
does seem
seen
like
it.
his kind of humor, actually.
So there you go. Not only is he younger, but he would think it was funny.
I do have a review, Karen.
Do you?
I do.
From the time?
From 2009.
All right. What do you got in Critics Corner?
Which is when this was released on DVD or whatever. This is from horrorsociety.com. And I'll read most of it. I'm going to leave one paragraph out. It's that time of year where fall is almost over and those grouchy relatives want to come to your house and eat up all your food, and you got to put on the forced smile and pretend you even enjoy being in their company. Yep, Thanksgiving. Well, if you've enough of that shit, just call in the killer turkey from the film ThanksKilling. This film is destined to become a horror cult classic. Let me get this out first so you understand what exactly you are getting yourself into. This movie is stupid as hell, so you need a sense of humor to enjoy it, and that's exactly what I did. It was a boring Friday night, so I popped it in, and the next thing you know, my sides were hurting from the comical situation this damn killer turkey was in. I don't want to give too much away, but this little bugger takes a cue from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in one scene, and then maybe the Toxic Avenger in another. You just have to see it to believe it. The gang needs to find the turkey in his teepee and spout out a spell while finally burning the turkey at the stake. Can they kill this turkey that seems completely unstoppable? That's the end of the review.
Well, it makes me feel bad, like I don't have a sense of humor.
I know. But it's not funny. It's stupid. And he even says it's stupid as hell.
But sometimes that's funny. I don't know.
Sometimes. All right, Karen, are you ready to get into it?
Sure, let's give the people what they want.
All right. ThanksKilling. It's rated 18 plus. Got nudity, violence, alcohol use, foul language, and sexual content. Sound very promising to me. Film begins and we have words to read, Karen. The year is 1621, the olden days, moments after the first Thanksgiving. And the first thing we see is a huge breast, Karen.
Yes.
A huge female breast. And then it zooms out and we see, oh, there are 2 of them. So we got 2 bare breasts right from the beginning. We got a girl in the woods. I guess she's dressed like a pilgrim, a cheap pilgrim costume.
That has lost its top.
Apparently. And she begins running.
I don't know why she has no top on, but she doesn't.
She begins running through the woods. She trips over a rock and a turkey kills her with an axe.
When we see the turkey's point of view, we see purple.
Yes.
Just in case you're interested. But he chases her, yes, and kills her.
And then we have credits.
A lot of credits because they know no one's staying till the end. So everybody's on there.
Including Wanda Lust, who plays the girl in that
Is she a
opening
porn
scene.
star?
I gotta
Sounds
think
like
so.
Sounds like it.
I wouldn't know, Karen.
Of course not. I'm sorry.
I didn't recognize the name. So then we cut to a college campus, and it's very fall-like in this beginning scene where we see kids on the college campus.
We do. And do you know where this is supposed to take place? Because they're in
I don't.
tank tops and t-shirts. So it can't be, but is it supposed to be where the Pilgrims were, or is it supposed to be in the Pacific Northwest or something?
Don't know. But once we're through that opening, like montage of a college campus with fall-like colors, we cut to our kids, right? And it's no longer fall, Karen. The leaves are all green.
They're all green through the whole thing. Yeah. At first, it looked like they tried to kind of stick with evergreens, but it just falls apart. It's spring somewhere.
Apparently, it's Thanksgiving break. And we got 5 college kids going away together. I guess they're all going home in the same vehicle for break. And they all jump into a Jeep Wrangler. I believe it's a 1997 Jeep Wrangler, Karen, if you're curious. Then we cut to a man with a collie in the woods.
He's going into what looks like an outhouse. So let's talk about a collie, shall we? I don't think we've ever talked about a collie before.
No, I don't think we have either. Not very popular in the horror genre, apparently.
And it's a rough coat collie, which is the long-haired version. And they were originally bred for herding sheep in Scotland. They're intelligent, friendly, gentle, loyal, active, and protective. They live about 14 to 16 years. They could be white, blue merle, tricolor, sable merle, sable and white, or sable. This one is sable. So again, they're from Scotland and the United Kingdom. And I'm going to make you guess their number on the intelligence scale, but I'm going to tell you it's top 20.
Okay. I'll say 12.
That would be the miniature schnauzer.
Okay.
But not far off. It's 16 between the Belgian sheepdog and the German short-haired pointer.
Where's the Shetland sheepdog here? Sheltie.
It's 6.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had a Sheltie when I was a kid.
They are cute. Lots of grooming though.
Very kind of like a miniature collie.
They look like it, but they aren't. And Sheltie dealers get very upset when you say that.
That's kind of what they look like.
That's what they look like, though. Yes, absolutely.
They may not have quite the elongated snout.
But yes, his collie is wandering in the woods with him.
And the man's name is Oscar. I don't know that it ever comes up in the film, but that's his name.
Oh, I called him the old guy. The dog's name is Flashy.
Flashy. I couldn't tell if he was saying flashy or flassy.
Oh.
Take off on Lassie.
Oh, maybe. I thought he was saying flashy.
I couldn't tell. So then we cut back to the kids in the Jeep and they're traveling and they're talking about what they're thankful for. So we got Johnny. He's driving. He's like the jock, right?
Right.
We got Kristen, who's in the passenger seat.
You like the good girl.
Yeah, the good girl. I think she and Johnny are trying to hook up, maybe. And then we got Billy, who's kind of like he's a hefty boy.
But he's the jokester.
Yeah,
right? Because he's boy. Heavy. Yeah.
Then we got Darren, who is Billy's friend, and he's kind of a geeky guy.
100% a geek, yeah.
And we have Allie, right? Who's the hoe.
Yes.
The ditzy, she's not a blonde, but she's whatever.
But she's basically the same as Johnny, but because she's a girl, she's a hoe. So.
Yeah, basically. So they talk about what they're all thankful for, and Johnny talks about his dad. How they haven't been getting along. But Darren's ready to get crazy, Karen. He's ready to party. He's ready to party on this Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, he's going to go skinny dipping with no clothes on and do all kinds of crazy stuff and have sex with someone in that car. And I said, Kristen's makeup is terrible. I don't know if it was supposed to be like that.
I think Allie's is too.
Yeah. And Allie says she's a prude, but then everybody else calls her a hoe.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first time we hear, what, your legs are harder to shut than the John Benet Ramsey case, which I did not look up, but had to do with a beauty queen. What are those called? Toddlers and tiaras type of thing. She was maybe, I don't know, 6
she was young.
And she was murdered and they never solved the case, as far as I know. but it was a big deal and brought to light the junior miss kind of pageants, and not in a good light.
Then we cut back to...
But they think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Good one. Good burn. Good burn.
So then we cut back to the woods with Flashy the collie, and I guess he begins urinating on a totem pole, a little tiny totem pole. And then Turkey pops up and kills the dog off screen.
Which I don't like. But so the totem pole is an arrangement of symbols representing animal totems from the tribe's ancestral past. But here's the thing. Totems were a form of communication for the Pacific Northwest Coast Native Americans, as they had no written language, and thus the story poles were used to convey their legends, stories, and events. They're mostly carved from large red cedar trees. So I don't know where this is supposed to be taking place. But yes, it's a tiny...
I'm not sure either, but I do make a note. I do have something here later, which may give us a clue.
And the totem pole that we're talking about, I'm sure everyone has seen the very large pictures of very large totem poles, especially from Washington. I know Alaska, things like that. This one's about what, 6 inches tall?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
It's a small one. It's like
one
you would get it in a souvenir gift shop.
Right, exactly. So don't think when we say the dog pees on the totem pole, it's not huge. It's this tiny little thing stuck in the ground.
Then we cut to the sheriff and his wife, and he's got a bad mustache.
So gross. Oh, it's fake, right?
Yes.
It's terrible.
It's clearly fake.
And you know he's the sheriff because he has a sheriff's star on his shirt and on his cowboy hat. So you can't miss it. He is 100% the sheriff.
His wife gives him coffee and he spits it out. And I wrote she gives him some bad coffee. But basically he says, "This tastes like shit. Did you take a dump in it or something?" And she pulls the powder out and says, "Why, yes, I did. I want a divorce." And she leaves, which is kind of funny when I'm thinking about it now. But at the time, I didn't think it was funny.
Thought it was stupid. I'm sorry. And gross.
It is.
But the turd is floating around in the coffee, if that's your thing.
So then Kristen calls her dad, and we find out, oh, her dad's the sheriff. She calls him on her flip phone.
Yeah, they all have flip phones.
Tells him that she is on her way, being there in a few hours. So they're driving along, and the Jeep breaks down.
And he does say your stepmom left me, but she doesn't seem to care.
No. They're driving along, and the Jeep breaks down. Apparently it overheats, I wrote, and they pull over. And they decide to make camp there for the night, since they got beer and sleeping bags and tents.
Tents, yeah.
And right here, I wrote, Karen, the Jeep has an Ohio license plate.
Oh, does it?
It does.
I did not notice that.
Not sure where it's taking place, but apparently Johnny lives in Ohio, or he registered his vehicle in Ohio.
Well, they're a couple of hours from home, so.
I don't know. We think it's like Bowling Green,
Miami. Depends on where you live.
Miami University.
If you're thinking Cincinnati, but it could be other directions.
Ohio University. Because we're out in the country.
Yeah, it had a lot of trees. Definitely was not the University of Cincinnati.
No, or Ohio State.
Right.
Probably. So then Darren finds a sign that says Crawlberg.
Which is fake, because I've tried to find out. Because I thought if I could find that, I could find where they were supposed to be. Yeah. But no.
So he runs and catches up with the others and tells them a story about Crawlberg. Apparently a pilgrim named Chuck Langston, which just happens to be Billy's last name, Langston.
Pissed off an old Indian named Feathercloud.
Yeah, and the Indian necromanced a turkey, and it comes to life every 505 years or something. Is that what he said?
Yeah, and I looked up necromancy. From what I found, is the practice of magic involving communication with the dead by summoning their spirits as apparitions or visions for the purpose of imparting the means to foretell the future events and discover hidden knowledge. We take it, I think, as a more general term as you bring something back from the dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has a very specific meaning, and that is you're trying to talk to a spirit, although that just sounds like a summoning, but I don't know. Yes, he's bringing it back. It's cursed turkey that comes back every 505 years, right?
Yep.
When he's telling the story, it's an animated. We're watching an animation that kind of shows the story.
With more TNA in it.
Yeah, but sort of, but not really. You don't really see anything. And you still don't really find out what he did. You just find out he pissed him off. Is this your first time listening to the Scary Spirits podcast? Or maybe you're a regular listener, but missed a few along the way. No worries. Not only can you find every episode on our website, scaryspirits.com, but you'll also get to enjoy awesome show notes too. I just want to say we really appreciate your support. Now let's get back to the show.
So then we cut back to Oscar looking for his dog, Flashy. He finds the dead dog and the turkey. Turkey says he killed the dog with an axe. He makes some kind of stupid joke, whatever.
He accidentally killed him.
That's what he says. So then the guy Oscar takes his shotgun and shoots at the turkey, and it runs away.
And this is where I said the turkey looks a little like a dinosaur puppet, like a T-Rex, or not a T-Rex. What were the clever girls in the last, went in Jurassic Park when he says clever girls? Looks a little like those, the face.
Mm-hmm. Velociraptors?
I think that's what they were. Has kind of a longer, doesn't really have a beak. At least it didn't look like it to me.
So then Kristen goes off to call her dad on her cell phone because she doesn't have service where she is, where they're all camping.
Well, she forgot to call him to tell him they stopped. He's expecting to take her to this ball or dance or whatever. So she needs to call her dad, and so he doesn't worry.
So she goes off by herself, calls dad. Turkey finds Kristen. She screams. And I wrote, apparently the turkey is immobilized by her screams. I didn't understand what was going on there. And Kristen runs away, runs back to the camp and tells the others, but of course they don't believe her.
Yeah, they all laugh at her.
Then a rabbit flies into the fire. And Darren gets down there and looks at it and says, it was tore open by a turkey beak. Its guts are all hanging out. Looked just like a
stuffed rabbit,
like a teddy bear or something.
Yes. But Billy is starting to maybe come around and think Kristen was right. He starts at this point to believe her a little bit.
So they all go to bed.
But not, the boys are in one tent and the girls are in the other, because everybody's mad. Kristen's mad that nobody believes her. But Billy's outside.
And he wakes up the next morning with Oscar standing over him with his gun. And Oscar tells him that the turkey was at their camp last night and he scared it away or something, kept them all safe.
Yeah, and it pooped on Billy.
So they get the Jeep fixed and they drive off.
Well, did you see? All he did was take a wrench, poke it in there, and the Jeep starts right up.
No, he was turning something, but it was very close.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
he was just moving.
It was just a very...
All right, I didn't think so. I just thought he pushed it in and out.
You ever worked on a car engine, Karen? Have you ever?
No.
Okay, well, it's very tight quarters, and he's just like doing little turns because that's all the room he has. But he's doing something, but I don't know what he's doing. He needs to get some water in that radiator is what he needs it to do, but whatever. So then Billy tells them all as they're driving along that he believes in the killer turkey now because he had turkey droppings on him when Oscar woke him up. Then we cut to the turkey and it's on the side of the road and a man pulls over.
This is one of the weirdest scenes. But why a man pulls over in a car because a turkey is on the side of the road and he propositions the turkey.
Yeah, he opens the door and he says, cash, grass, or ass. And so he starts to have, I guess he's going to have sex with the turkey, right?
He acts like he's going to.
Then the turkey puts a gun to the guy's face and the guy calls his
The turkey makes him call his daughter and then he shoots him right in the middle of the conversation. It's horrible.
And again, it's just, I mean, there's not much gore here. We see the outside of the car and the blood splatter on the windshield from inside, but that's all.
The turkey steals the car.
Yeah, and the turkey, steals the car and drives away.
I don't think his legs are long enough. But
So then they cut back to the kids and they drop Allie off at her house. Then we cut to Oscar again.
Wait, and that's the second time we hear the John Benet Ramsey
Nathan,
joke.
yes, that's the second time.
Yeah.
Then we see Oscar again out with his gun, searching for the turkey. And Johnny arrives at home. We don't see him drop off all the other kids, but he arrives at home.
Yeah, all the kids knock before they go in
to their
the
house.
Homes. Do you knock when you would go
no.
home, especially that long ago in college when you were coming home? Did you knock?
No.
No.
I had a key.
Well, I mean, I don't even knock now.
Yeah.
I walk in the door and I yell, Dad, are you here or something? But I don't knock and wait for them to answer the door.
No, I never did. It's my house.
It was odd. Yeah, well, I know. I guess we're disrespectful. It was just funny to me that they were knocking. Like, okay.
I mean, later when my mom moved to Florida, I did knock.
Well, I guess that's because that was no longer
it wasn't my house.
The home you grew up in. And my dad still lives in that home, so I still walk in. Like I said, I announce that I'm there so I don't startle him or something, but I don't knock and wait for him to answer the door.
Right. Like once I just said my mom lived in Florida. When I first got there for our trip, I would knock. The whole rest of the trip, I did not knock. I just walked in. Like if we go to dinner or something or whatever, my wife and I would go off and do something. We'd come back and I just walk in. But anyway, so Johnny and his dad don't get along since Johnny was moved to second string quarterback.
Yeah, because he broke his leg, is what he tells Darren earlier. So his father won't speak to him because he's second string.
He speaks to him, just very cold to him. And Johnny's not happy about it. So he tells Mom, I'm just going to lie to him. And Mom says, oh, no, Johnny, don't do that. And then we see Dad out on the porch, I guess, on the swing, smoking his cigar.
On the porch swing, yeah. There's kind of
Johnny goes out there, sits with him and lies to him and tells him that he's now the starting quarterback. And suddenly Dad loves Johnny. He's the best son ever. Turkey pops up behind him and decapitates Johnny's dad with a knife. And he throws the head at Johnny.
And Johnny catches it.
He does.
Go long, he says, or something like that.
Maybe Johnny should have been a receiver.
Yeah.
So then Johnny runs inside to find his mom dead as well.
Bleeding out her eyeballs, but I don't know why.
And then we see Allie sneaking a guy into her house.
Well, we see Johnny driving away going, why? No more pumpkin pie, no more cranberry sauce. But he's very calm. Both of his parents just got murdered, and he's just driving to his friend's house. He doesn't go to the police, nothing.
That's the way everyone is in this film.
Yes. It was at first I didn't get it. Then I get, it's part of the joke kind of thing.
Then we see Allie sneaking a guy into her bedroom, and she assures him that her parents are cool with it. It's okay. So then we cut back to Johnny, Kristen, and Darren, and they're all at Billy's house. And I guess Johnny tells them about the turkey. So
Johnny's drinking out of a brown paper bag. Do you ever drink out of a brown paper bag, Greg?
Nope. No shame in my game, Karen.
Nope.
Bag. And we cut to Allie and the guy in bed.
Well, wait, Johnny admits that the turkey is real and he killed my parents.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Okay. So then we cut to Allie.
I know you want to get Allie. You want to get to Allie, but we got to get those details in.
Well, I said that. He tells him about the turkey.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Then we cut to Allie and the guy in her bedroom having relations, Karen.
Yep.
Turkey arrives, and then the turkey kills the guy and begins having relations with Allie himself. And then the turkey kills Allie. And there's stupid jokes in there too, but
yeah, you just got stuffed. But this is where I said, then he kills her, and I go, well, damn, that was sequel potential. She could have had like a turkey baby or something.
That's true. She could have. So then the others arrive at Allie's house.
Another John Bonet joke.
Wanted to get there before it's too late. Johnny goes in and tells the others that Allie is dead.
They're too late. Then he has a turkey feather and an extra small gravy flavored condom.
And then they try to decide how to kill the turkey.
But Billy's upset. So he's like, oh, she was finally warming up to me. And now he wants to find that cock blocking turkey. Like he was only upset she was dead because she might have sex with him. But now they got to figure out how to kill the turkey. Of course, Darren says they have to find the books that are written about him and they have to go to the library, but all the libraries were closed. So Kristen's like, well, my dad has a lot of books. There's probably something in there about it. So, of course, they go to the house to look for that.
Yeah, that reminded me of Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
I've never seen
when
that.
Spicoli's like, well, they wrecked the guy's car, and Spicoli's like, dude, my dad's a TV repairman. He's got an awesome tool. So they go to whatever. It's just so then we see the turkey at Kristen's house, and he rings the doorbell there, and Dad, the sheriff, answers, and he's dressed as a turkey because he's getting ready to go to some costume contest or some shit, right?
Yeah, and they just have like a
turkey is wearing Groucho Marx glasses and a nose.
Right.
So you don't know it's a turkey, I guess. Dad invites him in, and the turkey and the dad
have awkward conversation for a while because they're waiting for Kristen.
Yeah.
Because the turkey says he's a friend of Kristen's.
The turkey can only take so much of this awkward conversation. He decides to leave, but
the sheriff calls him an odd little duck, and that pushes him over the edge.
So he kills the sheriff. Kristen and the others arrive at her house. She knocks. No one answers. Well, no, she does. The turkey answers.
But he looks a little different, doesn't he, Greg?
Turkey answers wearing her dad's face.
As a mask.
Yeah, crappy mustache and all. And Kristen thinks it's her father, and she introduces him to the others.
It's about 1.5 feet tall.
So then they go to the garage, I guess, to look for books.
That's where all the books are, in the garage.
And right here I wrote time check. That's when I started. That's when I looked. And there were 27 minutes left. I was like, shit, this is almost only half over.
I didn't even make it to halfway. I still had more time left than I had watched the first time I checked.
So then we have a montage of them looking through books.
And Billy's hungry. We should just say that. He wants snacks.
Well, he's eating fries the whole time they're looking for books.
Yes.
But Darren finds the book.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Finally, he says, and Kristen says, we've only been looking 5 minutes. So
it's only 5 minutes. That was probably kind of funny. But there used to be, well, I don't know, maybe it's still on. When my kids were very little, there was this show called The Backyardigans. It was a cartoon. And one of the characters was he was like the straight man. And they were like little kids on these little adventures, but they were different animals. I think he was the hippo, but I'm not sure. But anytime things worked out like that, he would just kind of stare at the camera and go, well, isn't that convenient? Because it would just be like they would need a boat to cross the river, and then they'd walk up and there would be a boat. And he would just say, well, isn't that convenient? So my kids used to say that when they were little. But that's what they just find it in 5 minutes. And he happens to have a book. When who would have such a book? But whatever.
And it says that turkey can be killed if it is separated from its magical talisman. And there's also instructions on how to kill the turkey, but it's in code, some mathematical code. So Darren tries to decipher it.
Okay, but stop for 1 second. So a talisman is any object ascribed with religious or magical powers intended to protect, heal, or harm individuals for whom they are made. They're often portable objects carried on someone in a variety of ways, but can also be installed permanently in architecture. They're closely linked with amulets, fulfilling many of the same roles, but a key difference is their form and materiality. I don't know. With talismans often taking the form of objects, which are inscribed with magical texts. They've been used throughout history with connections to astrological, scientific, and religious practices. Talismans are used for a wide array of functions, such as personal protection of the wearer, loved ones or belongings, aiding in fertility, and helping crop production, in case you need such a thing, Greg, if your crops aren't working.
It's also a song by Iron Maiden, Karen, off of the Final Frontier album.
Yes, an Iron Maiden reference.
It's a pretty good song, too.
So they need to get the talisman off the turkey, recite a prayer, demonic prayer backwards, and burn the turkey like a witch. That's what they figure out.
And I did write that the book is a piece of cardboard folded in half.
Yes, it is. I think it's supposed to be a journal or something and look old.
It's a piece of corrugated cardboard folded in half.
Yes.
So then Billy, as you said, is hungry. So he goes to look for food. And he happens upon the turkey dragging the sheriff's body, faceless body, out. And Billy yells for the others. And the turkey explains, that he kills white people who desecrated their land or disrespected their people. Billy grabs the turkey, and then somehow Johnny gets the talisman from it. It's like a necklace.
Yeah.
And the turkey runs away. And then I wrote Johnny and Kirsten share a moment.
Yes. Their hands reach for the same book or something.
Kristen's not too tore up about losing her dad either. But whatever. No. Then Darren runs in and tells them he has cracked the code. He tells them they must burn the turkey at the stake and recite a prayer. The book says that they can find the turkey in his teepee. If he is not there, then he is killing one of your friends.
That was probably the funniest line to me. If he's not in the teepee, he's probably killing one of your friends. Like, okay, that's funny. It's because it's stupid, but.
Cut to Billy wandering the streets looking for food. And I wrote he sees a ghost turkey because I don't know how else to explain it, but it's an animated, glowing turkey.
Which is supposed to make him think that it's a real turkey. The possessed turkey changes himself into some sort of hallucination, which is supposed to look like a plucked, cooked turkey. But it looks like a ghost turkey, like you said. It doesn't even look like a real turkey. And he puts the whole thing in his mouth and eats it.
Yep. And then the turkey emerges from Billy's stomach with a gun.
Yes, he blows up Billy's stomach with the gun he has.
The others arrive in their Jeep and find Billy lying by the side of the road with his guts hanging out. Darren is very upset, and he vows to kill the turkey for killing his best friend.
But at least Darren looks upset. He's the first person to look upset that somebody's been killed in a violent manner.
And then we have a flashback of Billy and Darren sharing ice cream cones and skipping hand in hand and playing on the swings. And right here, I wrote the Dead Best Friend song, which I thought was pretty funny. Then we cut to the turkey in his teepee making a salad. Aaron, he's tossing a salad. Kids arrive at the teepee. They devise a plan to grab the turkey.
Well, they didn't have a plan. So they have to make the plan
yes.
outside. But you're driving there. You wouldn't think that you would come up with a plan as you're arriving. They didn't know he was going to be tossing a salad. He could have been standing outside the teepee.
So pretty much Kristen's plan, but basically Kristen and Johnny are go in the front door of the teepee and surprise the turkey. And Darren's going to go in the back door of the teepee.
Well, yeah, because Kristen says, does anyone have any rope? Johnny says, I do, and pulls it out of his pocket and gives it to her.
Piece of twine.
Yes, but she called it rope, but he just happens to have it. Oh, do you have a lighter? Yeah, I do. I mean, which is a little more believable, especially in that time, but he just has everything she needs.
He says he grabbed him from the Jeep. He says, I'm handy or something, right? What does he say? Basically, they're going to grab the turkey, tie him up, and then set him on fire. Kristen and Johnny enter the tent and distract the turkey as Darren ties him up with the rope. Then the kids began reciting their prayer in unison. And Kristen begins to light him on fire. The turkey runs out of the teepee. But Oscar is out there and shoots him with his shotgun, and the turkey flies into a dumpster. Then all the kids come out and check on the turkey in the dumpster and talk about losing their loved ones.
I'm like, why aren't they setting him on fire? They know he has to be burned.
But they all believe the turkey is dead. They decide to go back to Kristen's and watch some movies. So then we see that the dumpster is labeled for radioactive waste.
And the movie they're watching is?
The kids begin watching Night of the Living Dead,
which is a much better movie than this. And I'm thinking, they're just in there watching TV and eating popcorn while her dad's rotting in the garage. Isn't her dad still in the garage?
I don't know where he is. Then Johnny and Kristen share a moment. Johnny asks her to go out with him, and they begin kissy facing and fall to the floor.
Johnny says,
And
I might have lost my parents, but I gained a girlfriend. And then they start, and you hear a zipper unzip, and that's when Darren excuses himself.
Yeah, he gets up to leave. So Darren goes to the bathroom, but then he goes to the kitchen and he checks the fridge. And then while he's bent over looking in the fridge, he is stabbed in the ass with a meat thermometer. And the green glowing turkey attacks Darren and rips his tongue out. Then it picks at Darren's heart, pulling it out and throwing it across the room.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. He's pecking at his chest until he gets to his heart, his beating heart, and then throws it on the floor. I mean,
It takes a long time to die, though, Karen, once his heart's ripped out.
Yeah, but it's pretty gory. He's got the best dying scene, I think.
Yeah, and then he sees Billy trying to guide him into the afterlife.
Yes.
So then we cut to Johnny and Kristen, and they wake up from a nap. Apparently, they got tired, fell asleep. Johnny thought he heard the turkey, but they convince each other that the turkey is dead. And then Johnny says, unless it fell into some radioactive waste or something.
And what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
That stuff only happens in movies, she says.
Right.
So that's one of the moments where, I mean, there are moments like that throughout the film, and I get where they're going. And, it is kind of funny, but, well, it's amusing anyway. I wouldn't call it funny, but I see what they're doing. They're trying to make fun of themselves.
Then Johnny goes to check on Darren, and the turkey stabs Johnny in the gut with an electric carving knife. Kristen runs in and punches the turkey. Then she helps Johnny to a shed.
Yeah, not to a car, to the hospital, to a shed.
No, but she grabs a can of spray paint and the lighter and lights the spray paint on fire, catching the turkey on fire. And Johnny dies. And Kristen grabs a bat or something, I wrote, and hits the turkey with it, knocking it into a wood pile, igniting it.
Yes, because she says he has to be burned like a witch at the stake. So she flips him into the ready-made pyre that's already there, conveniently.
And Oscar comes in and congratulates her as she eats a turkey leg.
Yes, because now he's cooked.
And then we cut to a family, totally unrelated family, just
a family. And I guess, is it the same year or different?
Who knows? But they're eating Thanksgiving dinner, and they all hold hands and say a prayer before they eat. And the turkey on the table comes to life. And he says something about sequel potential.
It says to be continued.
And then his words on the screen say to be continued in space, it says.
So I guess they either already know what the sequel is going to be or they filmed it already.
And we have credits in the end. Well, the sequel was a GoFundMe or whatever, something like that, right?
I have no idea.
That's what it was. They didn't make a sequel, but it was like a crowdfunded.
Were any of the same people in it? Oh, well, I guess only Kristen could be in it, right?
Yep. Dear God, it's an hour and a half long, hour and 40 minutes long, Karen, the sequel.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was raised through a Kickstarter campaign.
Well, I did see the budget for this one was $3,500.
Yeah, for the second one, they raised $112 on Kickstarter.
Wow.
So, yeah, it doesn't look like any of them are in the sequel. So, I forgot to tell you, Karen. This has a 4.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Seems high.
42% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Consistent.
What do you think Google users rated it? What percent
They're
of
always
Google
higher.
users?
I'm going to go with
enjoyed
52.
it? Ooh, 62.
Google users is usually over 80. So I'm surprised it's low like that.
All right. What'd you think of the pumpkin martini, Karen?
I like the pumpkin martini. I was thinking, you know what I think I might do if I made it again? I would put chocolate on the glass.
It's a good idea.
I'm not actually a huge pumpkin pie fan. I mean, I like it, but I put more whipped cream on it Then there's pumpkin. I like that combination, but it's tasty.
All right. I think either because I used 2 heaping tablespoons of
Oh, that's a
pumpkin.
lot. Yeah, yeah.
So I think I used too much, or either it calls for too much or I used too much of the pumpkin puree and not enough spice.
Gotcha.
I think I'd had more spice. I think I'd like it better.
Yeah, you could make it very cinnamony, or I like the base. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it has a lot of, you could put caramel in it. You could put caramel and chocolate in it. You could, you know, put cinnamon whipped cream. There's a lot you could do with it. And it's a very Thanksgiving drink. It would be nice to have after the meal instead of the pumpkin pie. Oh, because sometimes, well, I don't know about you, but after I eat sometimes I want something sweet to finish off the meal, kind of like when you had to smoke to let yourself know the meal was over. I like to have a little, if I just have a
Those
little,
were the days, Karen.
yes. I think it has a lot of potential and probably tastes pretty good even without like I could make a mocktail for my young one and see if he liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's vodka. You can't even taste the alcohol in it.
I know, but but I still wouldn't put it in there. But I'm saying I think you could add a little more cream, something to keep it liquidy, and put the whipped cream on it. I like it.
I probably could use some more cream in mine too, actually.
You just need to lower your pumpkin, especially if you're not a big pumpkin fan.
I mean, it's fine.
I like it. I think it has good potential.
Got potential. Anything we learned today, Karen?
We learned about the rough-coated collie, what totems are, what a talisman is, a little bit about necromancy, but not the right kind for this movie.
And John Benet Ramsey. You gave us a little bit about
tiny bit. And you got an Iron Maiden reference in there.
As I do, Karen.
Yes. Go with your strengths, as my mother always said.
Everything comes back to Iron Maiden. All right, next film. Is it my choice?
It is. What did you pick? Are you starting with a Christmas theme or not yet? Will it be December? It won't, will it?
Nope. It'll be the 29th. And the film I have chosen is a Hammer film, Karen.
Oh, haven't had one of those in a while.
I know. I'm going to work through them all. And it is called The Man Who Could Cheat Death.
Why did you choose that one?
Well, as I said, our next episode comes out on the 29th.
Yes.
The Man Who Could Cheat Death was released on the 30th.
Oh, okay. Is it like a Dorian Gray type of movie, or do you not know? Have you not seen it?
I have not seen it, Karen.
Do you have a drink to go along with this movie?
I do.
What would that be?
It is called The Fountain of Youth.
Sounds like a Dorian Gray kind of thing. What's in it?
You're not going to believe this, Karen, when I tell you. So we're going to need 2.5 ounces of vodka, a 1/4 ounce simple syrup, 2 sprigs of mint, and 4 slices of cucumber.
Wow.
I know, right?
That's basically a martini, right?
Mm.
A vodka martini.
We're going to muddle those cucumbers.
Ooh, muddling.
And that mint. I can't stand cucumber. I don't even know why. Can't even believe I picked this one. But I'm going to take one for the team, Karen. Who could not use a fountain of youth cocktail?
Well, if it works, we're going to, every drink from now on. What's the drink this week, Karen? It's the fountain of youth. We're going, Greg, with the fountain of youth.
Yeah. We're going to muddle 3 of the cucumber slices in the mint and use the 4th one as a garnish.
Well, we'll have to see if you can get through that whole one.
I know.
We'll just keep thinking fountain of youth.
I'm not
feeling
good about it, Karen, honestly. But we'll see.
Well, then I guess I'll just end up looking a lot younger than you.
Yeah.
I may be way older, but who's that young lady with Greg? She must drink the fountain of youth.
Well, he puts cucumber slices on her eyes.
Yeah, something. Anything, everything.
But that'll be next week, Karen. Knocking one more off the hammer list.
Gotta have goals.
All right, Karen, anyone you need to thank this week?
Well, Greg, I need to thank our listener. There are so many podcasts out there. Thank you for spending time with us. What about you, Greg? Who do you need to thank?
Karen, I'm going to thank the state of Florida and Tom Garcia for subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Well, thank you, Tom.
And of course, the band Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
The music definitely makes the podcast better.
Anything else, Karen, on this Thanksgiving Eve?
Enjoy your time with your family. And if not that, enjoy the wonderful meal.
And if you're out partying tonight, drive carefully.
And please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.